the only plug-in hybrid in its class, something that can conquer on and off-road, and we're going to show you how it is on-road like this. Furman Jeep has given us the 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe in Silver Zenith. Is this better than the Ford Bronco Raptor? 3 different driving modes with torque, the same output as the 392, which is the most powerful Jeep ever. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe starts off with a ground clearance that's nearly 11 inches. The Ford Bronco Raptor will be more at 13 inches. Fording through water is something that is amazing on a powertrain like this because you have batteries and they're fully sealed, in which it can go up to 31.5 inches. Now the Bronco will be more at 37 inches. Industry's first PHEV with front and rear locking differential, 47.4 degree approach angle. This has more torque than the Ford Bronco Raptor. 3 different driving modes, so you can drive this as a pure EV with nearly 0 emissions, as a hybrid, or you can toggle it where you would just get the combustion engine. All-terrain tires, 17-inch wheels by 7 machine finished with black pockets. The disc behind it at 12.9 ventilated, the rear at 13.6. 4.1 rock track heavy duty full-time 4-wheel drive, 4x1 rear axle ratio, true lock front and rear axle, up to 21 miles all electric, and a length at 188.4 inches, which is over 2.5 inches shorter than the Ford Bronco Raptor. Wheelbase at 118.4 inches. New for the year is going to get the American flags on both fenders right by the Wrangler badging. All blue is going to illustrate the hybrid technology. Towing will be more in the Ford Bronco Raptor at 4,500 pounds. Here it's going to be standard at 3,500 pounds. Reverse parking sensors, a reverse camera, payload over 1,000 pounds. Cargo starts at 27.7 cubic feet. We will have storage underneath the floor where you would probably put your plug 12-volt charger. Split fold the rear bench at a 40-60 split, increasing to 67.4 cubic feet. You'll lose a little bit of storage here. We got the Alpine upgraded sound system, and you have all of your information right here for your tires on the door. This is a 4xe, so you're not going to hear any rev ups, but we'll start it up so you can hear the sound of the engine. And they back the performance with a 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged with a 17 kilowatt battery, 2 electric motors producing 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 49 miles on hybrid, 20 miles on gas. Going back to the Ford Bronco Raptor at almost 420 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque, this has more torque. 0 to 60 in this, 5.5. The Raptor, you're at over 6 seconds. Quarter mile, 14.1 seconds. The Raptor, 15 seconds. So when you're looking at these numbers, this on pavement is going to kill it. Plus you're getting better MPGs and you got the same torque as a 392, but you're saving in the gas consumption with those 3 driving modes. So what is it a better alternative? Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. As we go into the interior, go over the tech and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. It's a bit of a step because this is higher off the ground with those all-terrain tires. Headroom starts at 42.8 inches, legroom at 40.8 inches. Leather wrap bucket front seats, manual adjustment for the driver and passenger, 6-way for the driver, 4-way for the passenger, heated front seats. The dash gets that Wrangler badging for the grab handle. You get the stitch work between your air vents and on the top, and you get a little storage pocket right here. 8.4-inch touchscreen with navigation for Uconnect 4. We have the pinch for the navigation. We got this swipe, click onto your apps so you can see everything we have. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. Off-road page, here you'll see your drivetrain, your accessory gauges, your pinch and roll, which is live, and your trail cam. You could also change it for your reverse camera. Both of them have full trajectory. The nice thing about the front is you also have a cleaner, so you could clean it right like that to make it easier when you're doing your trail run. Underneath it, your dual climate control settings, charging, you'll have a USB A and C with a 12 volt. You'll have your sway bar for your front and rear disconnect, and you'll have 4 different auxiliaries that you can add on anything you like. The Jeep badging over that 8-speed automatic transmission, the transfer case, and you'll get the leather wrap over your park brake. Really no area for a phone here, but you do have an area for your key fob. Does make it pretty easy in the sense of it's right between your cup holders. That could fit probably a 32 ounce. More sport derived, you still get that blue contrast stitching. Open up for the first, that you could probably fit a smaller cell phone. Open up for the bottom, it's a deeper storage with another USB port going onto your 3-spoke leather wrap steering wheel. It's heated, multi-function, and you get the contrast blue stitching. The gauge cluster has an array of information for the driver in the center, so you can go through that off-road page right here so you don't have to tackle it onto the infotainment. Working onto the door panel, everyday materials, soft for your elbows, a pretty decent storage pocket, and your 3 modes for your driving. For the back seats, I'm at 42.6 inches of headroom, 38.2 inches of legroom. At 6'3", you're not going to have any issues back here except for the elbow area or where you rest your arms. 2 air vents to roll up and down your windows, 2 USB-C ports and A ports, and a home plug. You'll have the grids and the storage behind both of the front seats going into your everyday materials for the door panels that are removable. You get the blue contrast stitching and you get that storage in the bottom. Sitting into the center, headroom is still no issue. The speakers are right in front of me, so that's also good to block the wind when you're sitting here. As for leg space, I am grazing the back of the passenger seat. It's pushed back a little bit further, sharing feet, butt, and shoulder space, but I would say it's doable for 3 occupants at 6'3" my dimensions because it is pretty wide in the interior. Taking the 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe out on our test run. 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged with a 17 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack, 2 electric motors, which gives a combined total of 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, all paired to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Same torque as a 392. 0 to 60 at 5.5 seconds, which is the second fastest Jeep to ever exist. The Ford Bronco Raptor with 440 pound-feet of torque still isn't as fast as this, which is crazy, the performance numbers that you get. Now, the ground clearance will be about 2 inches, give or take, more in the Raptor than this. We have all-terrain tires. They are bigger, so I do like the 37-inch that we got set on them. It's also a lot quieter than your standard 3.6 liter. And here we go. Some hard brakes. I like the Wranglers. They are very cool car, especially for a day in and day out use. Plug-in hybrid, 220 volt or a level 2 or a 240 volt will get you about 2 hours ish of a charge, and you can get 21 full electric range, which is unheard of because there's no other vehicle that does that, only Jeep. And I like the fact that they took the staple first because they also took the most power when they came out with the 392. So all the specs that I went over on the exterior review, just think about all those dynamics in place in this, and you can still ford through water at almost 32 inches. Obviously, it's not as much as the Bronco Raptor. But in the same respect, this is a plug-in hybrid. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is gonna get about 2 in a part lane, and look at this thing go. The Accord thought it was faster. That's the funny thing, because this thing can really pick up quickly. The Accord is fast, don't get me wrong. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this 4xe. To start off with, what I like is you still can conquer every single thing. The thing has so much power. If you really took this to rock crawl, you would be hopping over the darn rocks. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is this has more head and leg space than the Bronco, and that one's longer. Going on to the last thing that I like, you don't have to worry about the battery because it's sealed up, which is good for safety. Also, if you're fording through water to try to go as low as near 32 inches inside, you don't have to worry about that. And all of the components, you'll still get the skid plates underneath it, so it has the full capabilities as a regular Wrangler and the same towing capacity. Going to the 3 things that I dislike, starts off with the towing. The Raptor gets 4,500 pounds. This gets 3,500 pounds. This is the second fastest Jeep ever to exist. Even the 392 doesn't get an increase. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is when you get into the Raptor, you will have a digital reader. On the gauge cluster here, you don't. You also have a smaller infotainment screen. The infotainment is better in this than in Ford, but you got 14 inches of real estate. Full electric. Switching it to hybrid. And it just kind of throws you back a little bit more because now you got all of the horsepower and torque. The last thing that I dislike is when you get into the Bronco, you have a GOAT mode. Here, you really only have the 3 modes. So it's going to be a little bit, not hard, but you have to be soft on the pedal because there's so much power underneath this. Whereas if you go into the Bronco, you can get a manual and you have the first gear for rock crawling. But look at this thing go. It's insane, man. Jeep just builds one of the most powerful vehicles. Going back to the comparison, on road, this thing will beat the Raptor hands down. With gas consumption, interior space, towing, it will lose. Also, it will lose on the fording through water. But I mean, you got the same torque as a 392 and you have 49 mpges. I like to thank Furman Jeep for giving us this 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video. Check out the Instagram, the merchandise, and the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.